my temple, your tears rinse my feet. I walk out, I'm able to carry your peace. It reminds me of a song that I heard long ago. Maybe I've always known that you were right there. A simple melody playing over and over in my dreams.
What's up, everybody? We're live. We are in the building. I'm back this week, feeling better than ever. And I appreciate all the prayers, all the love. And we're going to get into it. We're going to be joined by one of our friends in a couple minutes. But you're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and start fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
All right, y'all. We're in there. Listen, these guys held it down last week for me. I appreciate y'all doing it, man.
Little, fumbling here and there.
Hey, man, you did what you could do. It still happened, which is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'm glad to be back. Last week I had a crazy attack and like my face blew up. And I was like, I could barely talk. I was in a lot of pain, so I could not be on the
Let's talk
podcast.
about that a little bit. So,
well, we'll get to that. But first, let me just introduce. We got
That's what he did last week.
did I?
what? What?
You really did introduce anyway.
I got Moon with me here today, rocking the Young Lion shirt. Yeah. We got an empty chair next to Jake, but James should be joining us soon. And we got Jake, of course.
What's up, guys?
And then we got John holding it down. And he is so out of focus. But I love it, though. I love it, you know.
Now he's in focus.
Okay.
Yeah, because, don't follow.
Yeah, that's true.
He was sitting there.
There he is.
There he is. John holding it down over there. But yeah, so last week I was absent from the podcast, and I tried to jump on the rendezvous, and then I had to make my exit because I was just in pain. But yeah, I had an infection that got really bad and like blew up. I ended up going to the hospital on a bunch of drugs and antibiotics and just a crazy week. And shout out to my mom though, because my mom really came through and helped me out, and my wife. Everybody just really just came to bat. You guys were praying, I appreciate that. And, I really appreciated the way everyone stepped up and was helping me get back better. And I actually got better a lot quicker than, I thought would happen based off of how bad it was.
Why do you think you got better though?
Well, I mean, a lot of that had to do with me
With
just
you.
Just not settling in what the
Right.
doctors were telling me, because I know that sometimes, I was trusting my own body and how I felt. And even though I went to the emergency room, the doctor told me, no, this is the definitive thing, and this is what you should do because I did this test and that test. And it ended up being wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was telling Jamie when he was telling me that, what he was doing. And I was, initially, as soon as he was telling me the story about how, he was looking it up himself, seeing, and then he ended up getting the stuff out of himself. It reminded me of the story of Mexico.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah.
I told you that?
Yep.
Him not just settling,
Yeah.
for that.
Right.
What the situation looked like
Yeah.
at the time.
Right. And not getting caught up in the fear and the anxiety of the situation,
Right.
because I know we got a show coming up. I got studio sessions. I got all these things I got to do. Oh, I'm going to let all these people down.
Yeah, you had your daughter's
My daughter's
trip.
field trip that my wife ended up having to go to. But yeah, everything worked out. And then it was a quick turnaround to the point when by the time I saw you guys again, it was not that bad. You know what I mean?
It looked the same
Yeah.
as the beginning.
Right. So
But I saw what it looked like.
yeah. I showed y'all a picture of that was when it was ramping up to its worst. It wasn't at its worst at that point, but it was getting there.
Yeah. The story. Well, he showed us a picture. The picture you showed us was not at its worst.
Yeah.
Right, but it was getting there. So the
It
picture I
looked
saw,
bad.
your cheeks were out here.
Yeah.
And
His
your-
lips.
your lips-
Yeah.
It looked
It
like
looked
you
like-
were doing that on purpose.
It looked like allergic reaction or like I was like stung by a bunch of bees or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that like got me was when you said that like you started crying pus.
Oh, not crying. It was just leaking. Like,
Well, that's
yeah,
what I mean. It was coming out of your cheeks.
Right.
And it had to escape somewhere. So
Yeah.
it's
It was just
escaping out
like
of your-
fluid just seeping out of my tear ducts.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was weird. Or just like my eyes were just sticky all day.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. But it turned around and you know, everything got better. And shout out to everybody in the chat. If you're in there right now listening to our crazy stories. I see Mom in there. Shout out to Mom. We will make sure you get your shirt today, Mom. I promise you.
Our John already have it set aside.
He already has it set aside. Stephanie said, hello, everyone.
What's
Shout out
up,
to
Steph?
Stephanie. And listen, guys, if you're watching, we need your support. We're trying to keep growing this thing, keep growing this this channel, this podcast, this movement. And every time you guys tune in, it really helps us out. If you hit that like button, if you share the video,
Share the video.
share the video.
Please.
That is the biggest thing you can do, and it's
Share it.
free. It's free. It's completely free to share it. All you got to do is hit that share button, and that gets us to more people than you can imagine. If everyone would share it multiple times, the algorithm would pick it up and more people would see it. And then we can get more people in here, more people that are like-minded, more people that want to talk about things that are changing the world. And then those people can then become members on the Patreon, like you see on the screen right now. You can sign up on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/youngliontv. We have a few Patreon members now that are loyal and faithful, and we really appreciate you guys every month donating to what we're doing. And also we have the Cash App if you just want to throw a donation at what we're doing and help us to continue to grow this thing as far as like equipment. We're talking about today how we have a bunch of HDMI cables that got to get replaced and USB. There's a bunch of tech stuff that goes on here to be able to pull this off. That
Just bought a new computer.
just got a new computer, and that was all thanks to you guys. So we're working on expanding this and moving to another location where we can even set it up differently and do it in a better way, more constructive way. So we appreciate you guys in the meantime. But yes, always share the video. And yeah, man, if you're on YouTube, hit the notification bell, like, subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we're on Rumble at this time as well. All the Rumble people, if you're finding us, just share it. Let people know. You know, you can join in on the conversation. We have a link for a rendezvous link. If we get people on there that want to join in and want to call in and join in on what we're talking about, they can hit the link and they can get right in on the conversation, like I did last week when I was out of commission. And then we got James entering the building right now. What's up, brother?
Making it work.
Yeah.
How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you doing? How you
Doing
guys?
good, man. Doing better. James kind of saw me during the week
Yep.
when I was struggling.
Lumped up.
He came through the house. What was it, like Thursday or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was still a little lumped up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did I cut your hair? Thursday, right?
Was that Thursday? Friday you cut me.
I cut you on Friday.
Yeah, Friday I had taken a turn towards better. So
Okay.
you saw me like right when I was kind of like
Yeah.
starting to.
Your lip was only a little swollen.
Yeah, I was putting ice. Friday I started putting ice, and that really helped, you know.
Right.
But yeah, it was bad. It was bad, man.
So should we talk about our trip?
Yeah, we should, man.
Crazy,
We should.
Our crazy trip. We always got some crazy trips.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about why you sound like, you know, you barely could talk.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that. So
Yeah.
Just go. Well, our initial show for this, the past Sunday was canceled.
Right. We had a
In
show
Baltimore.
scheduled in Baltimore for Sunday, which was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everybody,
Yeah,
by the
happy
way. Happy
Father's Day to
Father's
you
Day,
guys.
everybody on the stream. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about fathers and talk about that importance and like how Father's Day gets the shaft. You know what I mean? We were
Yes.
talking about that earlier.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, so we had an initial show on Father's Day get canceled, which we were like, oh man, another show getting canceled. You know,
we
you
had
look-
like 3 shows get canceled this month.
Yeah,
For what reason?
just promoters just dropping the ball, not being happy with what they're doing, and then want to change stuff, and then they shows get canceled. It happens sometimes, but it sucks when they all happen in succession. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So last minute, I get a call from Dave, and he's like, "Yo, I got a chance to do another show same day, but it's in Dallas. We're gonna fly out that morning and fly back on Monday. So everybody's good. Boom, we're ready to do it."
And it was literally like during the week, last week.
No, I called you guys on Friday evening,
Oh, really?
the Friday before, yeah. Because I was at the carnival, and that was the day of Elise's
Maybe
graduation.
I'm thinking about the other show. He tried to throw.
Yeah. That one was during the week.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this show was the Friday before.
Okay, so a week before.
Yeah. That came in.
Yeah, I remember because I was laughing because I'm like, he's at a carnival with his kids and he's doing work.
Yeah,
He's
I was
doing
on.
MD stuff.
Dude. I was just on making 1,000 phone calls, calling everybody, and then calling everybody back, and then calling Dave, but it's all good. But yeah, so then it was crazy because we get up early, we fly to Dallas, and then
Yeah, that flight was like. First of all, I had a party. You had a party.
yes,
For Elise.
my daughter's
Birthday
birthday
party,
party
yeah.
was Saturday.
Early.
Happy birthday, Elise.
Yeah,
And
Which
mom.
we talked
Yeah.
about last week because it was actually their birthday
the night of the podcast.
night of the podcast. So they had the party, but I was throwing a party for Fabian's graduation.
Yeah,
So I couldn't even go to your party. I had to send the kids with mom
yeah,
and then, get everything done there. So I didn't get no sleep.
yeah. Because we
either.
had to be at the airport at 3:30 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
So we all went to the party.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't leave there till late. We had some
10:30.
intense frisbee games again.
Now
I
it
didn't
explains
yeah,
itself.
yeah,
Once I got home, I lived probably, like 35 minutes from your house.
Yeah.
I had to cut my hair.
Yeah.
I still had to pack. So
Yeah.
by the time I went to bed was probably like 1:30.
yeah. So you go to bed 1:30,
You got to be up by 2.
and then y'all had to drive
2:30,
to
drive to
my
your
house
house
because we all
by 3.
rode together. Yeah, and then we go to the airport on no sleep, fly to Dallas, and
Dallas Fort Worth.
Dallas Fort Worth. And I remember getting off the plane, and everybody, like the usual thing, like we all congregate like right where the plane kind of lets out, usually near the bathroom.
Waiting for everybody.
Yeah,
to
so
go.
we can wait for everybody to get off, and then people got to go to the bathroom, and then we go find our driver and get in our transportation or whatever.
But
Yeah,
we did something that we usually never
Yeah.
ever do.
Yeah.
Which kind of threw me off. Like I guess I was in the bathroom when you
Yeah.
guys were talking.
Yeah.
Right? As we're walking towards baggage claim, I turned right to go to baggage claim. Steve's
Yeah.
like, no.
yeah,
We're headed that way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
but it says baggage claim. No, Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody's going to Starbucks. This is usually
And you know me, like I'm usually like I'm like, "Lo, let's go."
Yeah.
So I had a little anxiety about it too, where I was like, "Man, everybody want to go to Starbucks before we go to the driver." I don't know about that, but fine, it's not a big deal. So
I didn't even want Starbucks, and I was with you in the line. Like
Yeah.
I was behind you, and then you offered.
yeah, I got you.
But I wasn't gonna get anything.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just in the line talking to you. with
I
you
knew they
guys.
wanted to because, like, as we're waiting for everybody to go to the bathroom, Jordan gave me one of his like suggestive comments where he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, this is Starbucks right in the view, right there."
I love
would be
Jordan.
nice.
Yeah,
I love
right,
Jordan.
right,
I
right,
love him.
right. You know what I
might
mean?
die.
Wow, it's not usually so close when we get right off the plane. And then Steve was
And
like,
the line's not that bad.
yeah, Steve was like, "Oh, yeah, I could use some Starbucks." So then I'm like, "All right, fine. If everybody want to go to Starbucks before we get on the road, in the car, whatever." But I called the driver first to let her know, like, we're here. We're just gonna stop and get some coffee, and then we're coming out. She was fine. So the line wasn't that long, but it was a little long. So we go through the whole Starbucks line, and then I'm talking to them, and then I hear you be like, "Jamie." And then like you had like your eyes were big, and I'm like,
Because I was amazed.
yeah,
Right.
And then you just like, yo, it's and then
Nah,
you
yeah. So So they're talking. We're all talking, waiting for our drinks. I think we already all had our drinks, and we were just talking.
Yeah.
And then so the whole time behind us was somebody that we have been following pretty intensely.
Yeah.
For the last few years.
Yeah.
Right. We've given to
Yeah.
what they do a lot.
And we talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah,
before.
we've talked about it on the
People
podcast.
donate to us. We'll donate to other
Yeah.
influencers or like content creators that we believe in. And
Right.
this one was someone that we've been donating to a lot.
Right.
Is Rig Nation, which is this guy Tomi Orayomi.
Yeah, and we see people all the time, like, oh, that's this person.
Yeah.
But this was like, the thing was, like, he came out of the line, right? And he was on the phone.
Right.
And he walked right past me, and he saw I was looking at him. So
Yeah.
he was like, he must know me.
Yeah.
So I said, because he's got a twin brother. So
Right.
I
Well,
knew.
first you said to me, you were like, "Yo, Jamie, it's
Yeah.
And you were like, "Yo, it's."
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
looked
yeah,
and I
yeah.
saw, I knew exactly who. I was like, "Oh, snap!" And I went to shake his hand,
Right.
and he said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And he shook your hand, and you were like,
I was
"Is
like,
it Tomi or Toby?"
Tomi or Toby.
Because he has a twin brother,
Right.
Okay.
And they look really,
They look
really, really
almost-
identical. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
so he didn't want to call him the wrong one, so he asked. But if I had known Tomi was in
Yeah.
Houston,
I knew he was here, but I just wanted to,
yeah, because he's from the UK, but he lives in Nigeria now. So.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
it was just one of them things. Like, if we wouldn't have stopped there, we wouldn't have seen this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just coming from Houston.
Yeah.
So I think he flew from Houston to Dallas to go to Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were doing like a whole like convention thing in Houston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And this is the guy. Remember when we did the 21-day fast in January? Like this is we did it along with them, like the Rig Nation people. Like
Yeah.
they were all doing this 21-day fast. So like
So
we,
this
did
guy,
that.
he's a prophet. He's an apostle.
yeah,
And I'm not going to get into theological debates on
Right,
any of that
right.
stuff, so don't try to. But anyway, so this is some guy that I really like respect, honor.
Yeah.
This is the guy who I pay my tithes to. So like,
you had both of his books in your bag,
Yeah.
but you forgot to tell him.
so
which
I was
crazy.
so enamored that like, and
It was just crazy.
You guys got to
that
understand.
We crossed paths at that moment.
Right.
It was crazy.
Understand our like we don't get starstruck.
Yeah.
Because we've been around celebrities all our lives.
Yeah.
Like me and Jamie grew up backstage
Yeah.
with Chubby Checker
Yeah.
and like people who like, oh, you knew them? You
Yeah.
knew them? We've always grown up around that or seen this. We've been on tour with major artists.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff don't affect us, but somebody who I follow, somebody who I've read their books,
Yeah.
like to see him, that was like
Just
I
the
was-
whole story though is crazy. We
Yeah.
weren't supposed to be there. We were supposed to be in Baltimore. It got canceled.
Yeah.
Just everything just aligned perfectly.
Right.
We don't go to Starbucks usually. We're usually just pew.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, all right, God.
Yeah, what is it? And then
Yeah.
and then you posted that picture with his books, and then like he follows us, and then he
Yeah.
says in there he knows it's not a coincidence that we ran into each other. You know what I mean?
Because that was the weird, like, we already said it, but at the time, like, we met him, I didn't realize in my book bag that was on my back.
Yeah,
I had both of his books in my book bag. So it's like nothing else but
Yeah.
his two books.
Right.
You know? So that was just, it was funny, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to slow down, you know?
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is, man, and that's what I was saying. Like, even I was fighting my anxiety to like be like, nah, man, we gotta go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because I was thinking about, I'm like, go for what? We're going to the hotel. You know what I mean? It was 7 a.m.
Yeah. And it
You
was
know what I mean?
early.
But that's probably more to do with you guys' maturity, your professionalism. When you do something for a living, you don't want, people mess up your schedules. People
Yeah.
mess up your thing.
Right.
So you're like, I got to do
We
this.
gotta be on point.
Yeah. So sometimes you overcompensate
Yep.
for the lack of preparation on the other side.
That's what happened later on in the day.
But I mean, listen, that's par course.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that, like, sometimes you overcorrect
Yeah.
for the mess ups you know you're gonna.
Because you're like, I need to be overly prepared.
I need
so
to.
I need to give like we need to get there now just in case something
just in
needs to
case,
be
because you know it's coming. So
right,
you're like,
right.
listen, history have taught
Yeah,
me
right.
to listen. How much is it? 2 hours? 4.
Right.
You know
exactly.
what? 6.
Because we know it's gonna be 4 hours worth of stuff
it.
to figure out.
You know
man.
it. But in that moment, like I said, it was
Yeah.
divine.
Yeah, it was
Also,
crazy.
you don't want to hold somebody up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you don't want to hold the people up. Like
The driver.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's paying respect to your craft and with anything. It doesn't have to be this.
Yeah.
But anything, like you it could be with your job. It could be any circumstance that if you can at least slow down and really kind of learn from that experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll just get better in that moment too.
Yep. That's absolutely true, man.
Jamie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna send this to you.
Okay.
You wanna?
How you like that purple shandy? By the
like
way,
it.
you like it?
Yeah,
I like it
it's
too, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it
Yo,
sweet?
Cape May. That company has some good
Listen,
stuff.
I hate to say it, but my Trinidadian shandy. You know why though? Because I think when you grow up with something,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
nostalgia, right? So you like it by default.
By
'cause
default.
I,
It's like Malta, right?
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
all love it because we grew up with it.
we grew up with it.
He
stinks.
hates it. And if you go
Yeah, I
back
hate
and
it.
like you really taste it, you're like,
No.
this is some sugary trash. Like,
because it's really just it's associated with our holidays and our fest. So
Yeah.
it's you see it,
Yeah.
right? Like when I have candy from Trinidad,
yeah.
it sucks. You're not gonna beat Nestle.
The carob sorrel.
Yep.
It's horrible.
No, it's like I said, it goes back to that. I mean, I can appreciate it, but
Yeah.
I think anything you copy from people who do that,
Yeah.
it's usually not that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
What did you send me, Jake?
I sent you a post of his because it's interesting because he left from where we were, which was Dallas Fort Worth, and flew to Canada.
Okay.
And then he was talking about how he had this experience on the plane. So this was a post he put up from that. And it's even connected to what James was saying about overcorrecting, right?
Right. Okay. So it says his post is an Instagram post.
Yeah.
Should be up now, John. It says how I met the demonic spirit called politeness. As we started our descent into Canada, the plane got violently shaken. I jumped out of sleep to the pilot's announcements. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears that we descend into Canada. We are met with some unhappy clouds. Please return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. I immediately became spiritually aware of that our pilot was, unbeknownst to himself, discerning something, and that we were descending into a region that was unhappy that we had entered. So I began to pray. Just then, as I prayed, I heard the words, I am sending you to Canada to deal with the demonic spirit of politeness. And Canada is known to be overly polite, right? I responded to the Lord, but how can politeness be demonic? The Lord responded, politeness comes from the word political. I never even thought of that. Political, and therefore it's a type of political spirit. The assignment of the political spirit is to subdue the victim into a state of passivity based on intimidation and fear of reprisal. The central focus of a political spirit is to make the unthinkable policy polite. People accept the unacceptable. The Spirit of God is raising a generation in Canada and indeed around the world who knows that politeness is not a fruit of the Spirit. Wow.
Right. So see how like the effects of not wanting somebody to do like, and even in terms of you can get offended by somebody,
Yeah.
right? And it
Yeah.
becomes, oh, that's rude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the opposite of rude is polite.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's cultural.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's rude to somebody is not rude to somebody else. It's
Yeah.
all depending on
That's
your
right.
culture.
We talk about that all the time. Like in y'all's culture, a lot of foreign cultures, like just being bluntly
Blunt,
honest
yeah.
is not rude. It's just
Yeah,
what
yeah.
people do.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
nicknames for people is
Yeah.
what they are.
Yeah.
You know,
or telling
like,
someone,
you're
wow,
fat.
you got fat. Like,
Yeah.
they'll
Right.
just say it. You know what I
Hear
mean?
it all the time.
So what happens with politeness is that it starts, the fruit of it. The reason why you become polite is because you're intimidated, right? It's intimidation, right? And then it's intimidation through cultural means,
Yeah.
right? So, and it produces a politeness that you become passive, right? You don't want to engage,
Right.
But here's the opposite: is kindness. See, politeness isn't a fruit of the spirit,
Right.
Right? It's a fruit of the flesh, really,
Right, right.
Because it's pushed on by cultural means.
Yeah.
But through the spirit, you birth kindness, right? Kindness it comes through love. So it's a whole different aspect. So through love, you're kind to other people, right? It's a fruit of the spirit.
Yep.
But how does it happen? It happens through engaging. So instead of being passive, you engage with people. But you first have to engage with God, right? He engages with you. You engage with him. Kindness is what God gives us that makes us see him in a different way, right? And then we receive that, and then we turn back to him, right? So that aspect, now we're seeing things in a different way, but now we conceive that, and now we can birth that, right? And now you can give that, because he's given it to you. Now you can give that to somebody else. That's an engagement. Now you're not afraid to engage with somebody because love actually powers that. But you see how politeness is not a fruit of a spirit, because there's no power in politeness.
Yeah.
It's actually it's the spirit of fear.
It's phony.
Yeah. It's actually demonic. Like
It's
he's
being timid.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I never saw
Yeah,
it like
it's-
that before. That's crazy.
Plus, there's another aspect of it too. The politeness thing may have taken on a different connotation now, but politeness, how it was referred to was polite society.
Yeah.
Polite behavior.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
more to do with etiquette.
Yeah.
And it morphed into this thing now where I don't want to offend you.
Political correctness.
Political
It's
correctness.
politeness.
But
Yeah.
but you remember, you guys remember those books, All the Different Spoon, Polite Behaviors.
Yeah.
You have to eat the soup with this one.
Right.
It was more to do with etiquette and all that,
Yeah.
and it morphed into something.
But that's the problem. It's
Yeah.
etiquette. Etiquette is
It's all cultural.
It's
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Because what makes
It's-
that etiquette, because they'll frown upon your culture where you
course.
guys eat with your
hand,
hands.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Well, that wasn't polite.
Yeah,
It's
that's not polite
yeah.
society.
I
they
just
call
think
it.
I just think of it like polite. I look at it like it's phony. It's how you have to be in the society.
Yeah.
Kindness is genuine.
Yep.
It's out of the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You know
Comes-
what's so
it
funny you
comes from
say
the
that?
Lord.
Someone had asked Anthony Bourdain about the best meal. What's the best meal you ever had? And he, speaking of politeness and kindness, right? This is a good analogy because he said, "I've been to many restaurants around, the most expensive restaurants," and he's like, "I'll tell you the best meal I have because I knew the kindness that I felt. It was an old woman, and it was I can't remember the country, but it was an East Asian country. And he said we went there, and this woman cooked the last thing that she had to eat, and he's like, and she served this, and she didn't want anything. She didn't ask for anything. She just her main purpose was to make sure we were fed.
Wow.
And he's like, and that was the best meal that I've ever had because it was the last thing she had.
Yeah.
And it's like that
That means something.
that meant something to
Yeah.
him that he said this because I know that she had to scrounge everything together to make this meal. We didn't even ask her for it, but she wanted
Yeah,
to do this.
right.
We not like we said, "Hey, can you do this for the camera?" She just did it.
That's
You know what
that's
I mean?
kindness.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when Jesus is in the temple and he's in the area
I
where
was
they're,
thinking the same thing.
they're giving money, right? And there's people giving all kind, like making a show of it,
Right,
know,
right.
just
Yeah.
giving,
Yeah.
and
Throwing money on the steps.
yeah,
Do
right.
your praise.
Right.
And then you got this old
That's what-
woman.
I know.
Yeah.
You got this old woman
Yeah.
who gives this
A
little
little bit,
a
yeah.
mite, which is
Yeah.
like
A percentage
Like
of
a
it's
penny.
like what a penny's
Right.
really
it's
worth
like
now.
a tenth of a denarii, I think
Yeah.
it is. Right. So it's very little, but it was what she had, right? It was all she had.
Yeah.
So and Jesus, he acknowledged her over
Yeah.
everybody else,
Right.
right? Because of how she gave it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. There's a connection there.
Yeah.
And it's a heart connection. Because you can give out of your heart, but it's more like, well, I don't want you to feel that I feel
Yeah,
this way.
right.
Like, see, we're
Yeah.
overthinking everything. Like, that's where
That reminds me of Christmas.
Right.
Yo,
You know
Right.
what I mean?
for sure, man.
In general, this culture got gift giving.
Yeah.
It's like you
I gotta
only
give you a gift, so you give me a gift. But if you,
Yeah.
so,
If-
yeah,
if I
right,
give-
yeah,
I
right,
don't
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, right.
I explain this all the time to my wife.
Yeah.
I'm like, because to me, Christmas and all those things didn't mean this
Yeah.
in terms of the materialism. I get it, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that here, if you give a gift that's unbecoming of the first gift, you're like,
Yeah,
you're gonna judge me because
Right.
my gift isn't. So it really isn't about giving; it's about what I'm gonna
what
get.
I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like if I gave you a gift, but you ain't get me nothing. Now I'm salty.
Oh no! The only person who did that in history was you with my sister for
Yeah.
Christmas when you were happy not to get a gift.
I had to think about it first.
Wait
I
a
was
minute,
salty.
this could
My
be-
first reaction was to be mad, and then I thought about it. I was like, "This is the
got-
best
I'm
thing
on
ever."
to something.
I got a story that kind of goes along with that. So the past week, this has been it's funny because we got a lot of our shows canceled, and
Yeah.
this has been like a financially hard month for me, right? But my oldest, we just talked about, he had a graduation party, right? So
Yep.
we really didn't have the money to do it,
Yeah.
right? And but man, people gave into that, right? People, you guys, like people gave into that. And the first person that gave was somebody who I knew didn't even have it. And he's giving me money, and I'm like, I didn't even want to take it because
Yeah.
I'm like, this guy, he don't really have this money. Like,
Yeah.
and then I felt weird about it. But then I remember God checked me like, no, receive it. He's honoring you.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to deal with
That's
my
hard to
own-
do sometimes, man.
Yeah,
It
I
really
had
is.
to deal with my own pride, my
Yeah.
own like my own
Ego.
ego, or just that, like, again, I think that's the politeness thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, of should I? But then after that, then all these people gave, like, and then I had enough. Like, you gave. I didn't even know. I didn't even
I
know
saw you responded today.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I just noticed
Yeah.
that today.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I gave all that away. So it's just interesting how it works, and how God works a whole different way. It's through love. It's through kindness, right? It's like, if you don't give because you feel like you're gonna get something.
Nope.
You
Yeah.
don't give because you feel like you owe somebody something, right? That's all the wrong. That's intimidation.
Right.
That's the way the world works, right?
Yeah.
That's why Jesus said, like, if you give, don't expect anything back in
Yep.
return,
Right.
right?
Yep.
That's the true meaning. Of
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't like, 'cause if somebody needs something and you give them, you're like, oh, but I expect this money
Yeah,
back,
right.
or within a certain time. No, I always give, especially from people who I know got issues with paying people. Don't pay me back.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. No, I got
Yeah.
you. You know, because I don't even want to set up that
Yeah.
that law, that rule, because now you got to uphold something. So it's interesting, man.
Yeah. That's a great. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Did you guys match on purpose?
Who? What you mean?
Oh, Jake and
Oh.
James. They do kind of look kind of matchy.
They're wearing the
It's funny
The
because
pink colors.
Stan be matching with me.
Yeah.
I got the memo.
Well, me and Mona are both wearing merch.
We
I got
always-
on the Jatan merch. He has the Young Lion TV merch.
I was about to wear the.
You can get those on our website, by the way, if you want to support Jatan.com. You can get this shirt, and the Young Lion shirts are not available yet, but you can get them if you donate on the Cash App.
Can I add one more thing to the?
Sure, go ahead.
I would say this, right? If you are on the topic we're speaking, I noticed that people who get fooled are usually people who are looking for certain things, like the political correctness, the politeness, because they don't realize that the people who they're listening to, they are well tuned into what it takes to get you to buy into certain things.
Yep.
So if I can put up the image of me and my wife and my 2 little kids, or I'm playing baseball, we're tuned into that. I'd be like, I like that guy. But then when we hear the things that they do, we're like surprised almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're,
Yeah.
because you're not tuned into kindness, you're tuned into political
things. They don't
politeness.
understand that this guy has spent millions of dollars, has a whole team researching
team.
what behaviors,
What to say.
are beneficial to people, what wins over this type of wife, this type of
don't
look.
get it.
Yeah.
So if you're triggered, if you're looking for that,
Yeah.
it's gonna be presented to you, and you'll be like, I don't need nothing.
Right.
You stop right there,
Yep.
and you're not looking at anything anything else, and then you're surprised when
Right.
things don't go the way it did because you just didn't do a little tiny more research.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're just, the real research is seeking God.
Right, because
know?
then your discernment is there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what church too.
Yeah,
That's what,
absolutely.
with anything, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure. So you want to talk about how you lost your voice in the middle of the show?
Oh, yes. So, I was getting like a little thing in my throat.
Oh, first of all, hey, Warrenita. She just said hello, brothers.
What's up, Juanita?
Yeah.
George is watching.
What's
What
up, George? Make sure you guys share, please. Please share the video.
Yeah, I was dealing with something. Like, it wasn't even that big of a deal, but
Yeah.
I felt, you know how you can feel something coming on?
Yeah,
So I took some medicine. I'm pretty sure I didn't get sleep.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We were
it
on
was
no
like
sleep.
the combination of,
Stressful day. Our
things.
sound check took like 4 hours,
yeah.
which it shouldn't have taken that long. You know.
It was looking good at first.
We thought we were under the impression that things were gonna go smooth.
Yeah.
As soon as we walked out to that stage, bro, it was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's roll up these sleeves. It's fighting time.
There were thoughts that come in your mind like, we might not be doing the show. And
yeah,
it's like,
the- this show might not happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Like to the level of that.
Right.
Like,
Right.
but it worked out. you
Yeah.
know. And then it's just stuff you got to work through.
Mm-hmm.
You can't look at what's there and just be like, you know what? You got to work through it. You know.
Right.
Yep.
How can we get this done?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it
But-
was cool. But yeah, so like as
After
we were-
sound check.
while we were doing sound check,
Yeah.
I felt it like, oh man, it's
That feeling of like certain notes just being like not clean.
Well, I had no falsetto voice.
Right.
I had
Yeah.
no head voice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was like
just air. Yeah.
Like-
Yeah, he sang for me. He was like,
Yeah. So I knew like, all right, this, let me drink some honey. Let me
Yeah.
drink some tea
Yeah.
and some stuff. So by the time we did the show, like I was like, I could barely talk. Y'all heard me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can hear you. It's
Yeah.
changing your
Yeah.
voice.
And when we got on stage, I'm like, all right, let me just make sure I hit. Just push them notes
Yeah.
out, like with all I got.
Yeah.
So I was more like just belting
Yeah.
and just trying to hit notes.
Right.
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 And
I could hear it the whole time though. Like I'm like,
Yeah.
he's struggling, boy. But
Yeah.
you were getting him
I
though.
was just trying to just hit the note.
Yeah.
And just
Does that make it
back
worse
up.
though? That you're trying harder?
Probably after the fact.
yeah.
Because
Straight
after
up.
that, your voice
No,
was
my
gone.
voice. Yeah, my voice
Yeah.
was gone.
Yeah.
Like the next day.
The next day when we were going to the airport,
Yeah.
Jake
But
was
he had to
talking-
get
was
through it
talking
though.
like
That
this.
was probably the only way that he could have.
Yeah. Because if he doesn't sing his notes, Freddie's gonna be.
He would've noticed.
Freddie's just gonna have a
Yeah.
fit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I had to sing the notes because if it wasn't there, the only notes I didn't sing was when we were singing in unison.
Yeah.
And it was like the high notes because it would have sound crazy.
right.
Like-
So you were like, let them have it. Yeah.
So I didn't even attempt those. I just let y'all do that. And all the stuff where I had to sing harmony, I
Yeah,
just pushed.
yeah.
The worst one was Hey
Tasty
Lover.
Love.
No, Hey
Oh.
no, Hey Lover because it's like
that's
soft.
Yeah,
and that's
that's
always
his-
like right on your edge too. Yeah.
So I was like just belting it out and backing up off
Yeah.
the mic just to try to
Okay.
even it out.
Well, the good thing about it was though that Freddie actually was not really paying attention because he was kind of just like phoning this one in because he wasn't happy with the whole setup and he was kind of just like, I'm gonna get this through the show and get out of here. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. But one thing I will say is every time we go somewhere, there's usually something attached to it, like what God is doing, and he's always had me like, okay, like paying attention to these things. So again, like if you get caught up in the normal stuff, you can miss this stuff, right? There's always retaliation and things that happen because of what God wants to do in an area where we go. And again, us meeting Tomi Arayomi,
Yeah.
and then also getting the show last minute and having it change from Baltimore
Dallas.
to Fort Worth, really.
Yeah.
There was some stuff there. I'm not going to go into all that because we can talk about that later. It's more, that's more in depth. But there's
That's
always
Patreon stuff.
yeah, but there's always something that God wants to do, and it's always through the things that want to frustrate you.
Yeah.
You can't allow the frustration to make you a victim of it,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll miss it.
Yep.
Real quick, guys, I posted the rendezvous link in the chat. If anybody wants to jump on there and say hi, click on that, and you could jump in on the conversation. All right, so y'all ready to get into some of this stuff?
Yeah, man.
An hour later.
It's all good.
Hey, that was good.
It's good.
So before we get into Father's Day and talking about like all of that, we got to go through some clips on the internet. First of all, we got to discuss Uncle Joe this week. I don't know if you saw James him you saw this. Yeah. It's just this has been going extremely viral. If you can't see it, it's just our president trying to come to a stop on a bike and completely just falls over.
His team was like, yeah, we're gonna have you ride a bike just to show everybody that.
Same thing we're saying. You're gonna look strong. You're gonna look
strong.
You're gonna look fit. You're gonna look with it. You know what I mean?
He stops the bike. The bike is completely stopped.
Yeah. And I think like his foot got caught in the little loopy thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he couldn't get it out, and he tried to step down, and it's just tumbling.
It's crazy, man. Like you see, like we can't be it's like everybody wants to be look at something. Okay, we're good. Like,
yep.
Okay, well, and then like that right there. Give me the explanation. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to go any deeper. But if we do that, we always stay surface. We can never. And then people wonder why. Why didn't I see that? Why didn't I discern that? Because you don't go any deeper.
Yeah.
You gotta go deeper. You can't just be caught up in what it looks like.
Yep.
Or what you want it to look like, so you can feel comfortable.
Yeah. Can't be caught up in, we got to get Orange Man out no matter what.
Yeah.
But you can tell his foot got stuck.
You can tell his foot got stuck. But still, like, it's not a good look. Like, the dude can't stand. The dude is always falling, man.
The bike was stopped.
Yeah, but his foot got caught in the loop.
Yeah.
And he had already committed to the side,
If it's one of those click,
but
ones, it probably
it wasn't. It was the
his
loop
one-
over. The loop over, yeah.
His left leg's not strong enough.
No, because he had already. How like when you already commit to lean this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he put
Couldn't
all
get
this
his foot
weight
out in
on
time.
this side, and,
Yeah.
and you're expecting your foot to come down and catch you, and it didn't come out. So it's like, I trust me, a younger man probably could have, caught himself.
Yes.
it's an old man fall.
This clip went around viral. I think we've played this before, but I just got to play it again because it went viral again, and it's just one of the most hilarious clips of Uncle Joe.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
Kamala's like, bruh, just get it out.
Oh man, yeah. So I just had to play that again.
What do y'all think is like what's going on? Like
with him?
What does? Well, I mean, like, because I always look at it. All right, God, what are you trying to show us with all this stuff?
I think he's really trying to expose, like, lift the veil on this whole political system.
Yeah.
I think that's what's been going on for the last, even through Trump. Like, it's been a slow, like, just pulling away the curtain for people. But it hasn't been like, if you rip it away too fast, everyone goes crazy. Yeah. So it's just been like a little by little, just deprogramming people to how nonsensical all this is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And how you shouldn't be so bought into it. It's like that clip I sent y'all where the dude was talking about how, like, stop thinking that the conservatives are going to be the ones to, be on the right side of things, or the
Right.
It's not about Democrats or Republicans. It's about God and the devil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Sometimes you need to hear like that.
yeah. And I think he's revealing that for a lot of people, because when you look at what all these Republicans, these rhinos, a lot of these conservative people, a lot of things that they're aligning themselves with, that they're bringing in, that they're agreeing to. That clip he was talking about was about Fox News and what they were just supporting on their news broadcast. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I think a lot of the ideas of no, this party's gonna save us, or this party's the party of the right. You know, this party is right, this party's wrong. Like all of that stuff is being slowly lifted away from people and being deprogrammed and forcing them to look further, look deeper, and go back to what really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you had, like, you see the progression. You had Obama, who like, one thing that happened was you saw a black president, right? But the other thing that happened was he wasn't a good black president.
Right.
So color don't matter.
Right, but
color,
I think a lot of people are still under the impression that he was.
because of the way he acted.
Demeanor.
And that's that's what I was getting to.
Right.
So he wasn't, if you look at what he did, because we had the worst thing that he did was making, under him, gay marriage was established in this country.
Right.
You know what I mean?
The second term.
Same-sex marriage. So, like, he didn't hold, but he said he was against this stuff. He said he was one thing, but he really wasn't. Right. So, and that's what you're seeing. Like, these people are false. Like, they say they're for things, but they don't. They're not integral. They don't hold to their beliefs.
Yeah.
Right. But it's really about the show. And I think he embodied that probably the best out of any president. What he did was he embodied the act, the hypocrisy of playing that role to the T, but not meaning any of it. Right. So you had that, right? And then you have Trump that came after that. And Trump is like the total opposite. Trump is, he doesn't play no role. He don't care, right? He's not trying to be anything. Trump is just who he is, right? And then you had people, because you got an Obama total. Now you got this, and it's like, that's
He doesn't care about political correctness. He doesn't care about certain things.
So that's a shock to people,
Right.
You would say, we're talking about polite. Trump is not a polite person, right?
That, absolutely.
But he's a kind person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people don't, so you don't know how, people who don't discern these things because you're so caught up on Obama, because we've been programmed in that way, right? You're so caught up in an Obama who's very political, very polite.
Well, presidential is what they say. Yeah.
And he's a good orator too.
Yeah.
But
But
even that is like,
what does that mean?
That's all training.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many actors are good orators.
Yeah.
But they're actors.
Right.
You know? So it's,
yeah, Johnny Depp killed it during that trial.
Right. Yeah, he showed how much of a better actor he was than Amber
than
Heard.
her, right? Because he played a role, boy. You saw him turn it on during that trial.
And she was attempting, and
Yeah,
she did
and
very
she
poorly.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
She couldn't get. No one felt sorry for her.
Yeah.
And she's still failing in those after interviews.
Is she doing? I didn't even
she's
see
doing
any of
Oh,
them.
yeah. She can't act.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp did something, not to sidetrack, but Johnny Depp did something that was like so impactful during those trials, where he just kind of like, he gave the no emotion answers, where it was just like, I'm gonna be completely stoic and still, and just make her lawyers look stupid by embodying that stoicism. You know what I mean? Where he was just like, yes, I agree with you. Yes.
Yeah. And the other thing I think he didn't do on purpose, but he knew, was that speech that she gave at the Me Too movement hyped her up.
Yeah.
She really believed that she is defending all women.
Yeah.
So she went in with this thing. So she like embodied that spoken words kind of thing.
Yeah.
So she went on there. She was doing a version of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Right, and that only works in certain circles.
It only works in certain circles.
Yeah, once you get, and the other thing that they did, which was masterful, was getting a young Hispanic woman to what's it called, when cross examine her, because they knew anything else would have made her seem like she was being attacked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah, that was crafty.
I just
anyway.
sent you the interview clip from TikTok.
oh yeah, but go back to what you were saying, Jake.
So again, you had Obama, right? Then you have Trump, right? And with Trump Trump was very just in your face. It is what it is, right?
Obama is trained to say all the right things. Trump says all the wrong things all the time. Gets himself in trouble. People take it,
Right.
use it against him.
And I wouldn't even say they're the wrong thing.
I'm saying,
They're
like,
just not the politically correct thing.
in that way,
He's
is what I
blunt.
meant.
He reminds me of my mother, who was a foreigner.
Yeah.
In the closing
Right.
arguments, the
So with him, I think it was like people like that. There were people who liked that, and then of course people who didn't. The people who didn't were very programmed. The people who liked it were the ones that were so tired of the act. But see, that even can be a problem too. That's
Yeah.
why you had You had Trump supporters that were like looking at him like Jesus.
Or ones that
Right.
went
Yeah.
into the Capitol building and made themselves look really dumb.
Yes.
You know.
Right. You had people who were too gung ho,
Right.
to where they're taking what he did and now because of their own way of just being so tired of this
Yeah.
stuff, right? They take it. So you take it too far.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
and you had people that do have extremist views thinking that, oh, this guy is one of us. You know what I mean? Just because he is willing to say things that we kind of think. You know what I mean?
yeah. But I don't think that was the majority. I think
No. But I'm saying like that came along with it.
Peppered
You know
in
what I
there.
mean? Yeah,
Peppered in there is
that's
a couple.
peppered in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But then you have somebody who comes up, Joe Biden, right?
He's just
Who-
safe.
Who is bad, especially because
He's probably worse than Obama, bro.
well, no, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
as far as
Is
like,
he safe?
corruption, as
Is
far
he
as
safe,
no,
though?
I'm saying in the public's mind, he's
Right.
a return
Right.
to
He's a
normalcy.
yeah.
How
He's
many
a
times did they
return
say that?
back to Obama, right?
Right.
Because he's Obama's vice president.
Right,
Because-
right.
But the thing is, he's degrading.
Yeah.
He can't put up the show that Obama
You
put
mean
up.
he's degenerating, like, or you mean like he's physically degrading?
He's
like,
degrading, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's degrading.
Yeah.
You can say degenerating
Yeah.
too, but he's degrading. Like he
Yeah.
can't do what he
Yeah.
can't put it up anymore.
Right.
So
He
tried.
never did though.
Yeah.
Like,
Obama
if you
can
go,
maintain
like,
the
his-
role.
no, he
Yeah.
If you go,
He
back,
said a lot of crazy
He
stuff
said a lot of
during
crazy
then, too.
stuff. He's
Right.
not. He's
he could never, like, even when he was running, I remember the quote came out where Obama was like, you know, never be surprised with how Joe can F some things up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't think he's ever been at that level. And this is why he never won. That's why he had failed campaigns all the time.
He was a gaff king for a long time.
Yeah, he's been a known liar.
But-
like he lied about his whole college education. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Because he doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Because it was so far from Trump was so far from an Obama
Yeah.
that when you return just a little bit, it's
Yeah.
like to those
Yeah.
type
It's
of people
relief, yeah.
that are so programmed. But the problem is he's so degraded that he can't even do that.
Yeah.
You know, so he's just like showing his hand, right?
Right.
And so now you're dealing with like, are
So
people
what does
gonna,
that lead to? Is that going to lead to even more extreme version of something? Like it seems like it just keeps getting worse and worse. You know?
Well, I think that's where there's a lot of waking up that needs to happen.
Yeah.
On both sides, right? With people who have like kind of went too far with Obama.
Terry's on here. He said, "Well, Jamie, guess we'll talk about Trump another day." LOL. And then he said, "Leave Sleepy Joe alone."
Who's Terry?
Terry, Pastor Terry.
Pastor Terry. Oh. Pastor Terry. What did he say? He said, well,
He said, "I guess we'll talk about Trump another day." LOL. And then he said, "Leave Sleepy Joe alone."
no, no. They all need to be talked about.
Oh, and the clip I sent you was the wrong one.
Okay,
I
you
just
sent me a
you
new one.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But-
I mean, Trump. I got a lot to say about Trump too. You know what I mean? Like Trump was not perfect
Yeah.
by any means.
Yeah. But he was needed.
Yeah,
He was needed. You know, and even like
The jury looked at the evidence.
sorry. Go ahead.
even Joe, like a lot of these people who wanted to go back to these things, like, all right, this is what you get.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people needed to see that. Like that's like that clip I sent y'all that you said you didn't get to, which the reason why I brought it up is because her account, the girl who posted that, let me see if I can find it. Her account, yeah, bring this up, John, real quick. Her account, the girl, what she did was she went around in black neighborhoods and asked people like, she's a Hispanic girl, and she was asking people like, do you wish Trump was back? And all these people were like, yeah, man, it was way better under Trump. Like, they were like, man, these gas prices, you know what I mean?
You still got the video?
No, because they took it down off of Twitter, which is why her whole account got suspended from Twitter.
Wow.
So that's why I was asking if y'all ever played it last week.
There was another black comedian out of Texas that's doing that too.
Yeah.
He's going around asking.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah.
The girl was like, so your only care is gas prices? Like, you don't care about anything else?
Yeah.
She's basically trying to say, like, you know, the gas prices being high is not that bad.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people will say that. Like, well, what about all the other things? Yeah. It's like, but when people are struggling, like, they're going to look at food prices, gas prices. Yep. They're going to look at, you know, how far is their dollar going compared to what it was before, you know.
It's all programmed responses.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's what I just sent you a video.
Okay.
And I think it plays into everything we're talking about, because how we just, even as babies, we get programmed into how we want to feel. Yeah. Like with our parents, you know, and the response we want to get from them. And that's how we act that out as babies. Okay. Like, so it goes into that.
Let me play this video John sent me first before I pull that up.
The jury looked at the evidence you presented. They listened to your testimony, and they did not believe you. They thought you were lying.
How could, I'll put it this way, how could they make a judgment? How could they not come to that conclusion? They had sat in those seats and heard over 3 weeks of nonstop, relentless testimony from paid employees, and towards the end of the trial, randos, as I say.
So you don't blame the jury?
I don't blame them. It wasn't, I don't blame them. I actually understand he's a beloved character, and people feel they know him. He's a fantastic actor.
Their job is to not be dazzled by that. Their job is to look at the facts and the evidence. And they did not believe your testimony or your evidence. The jury looked at the evidence.
Show the other part. So she goes on to say, talks about how he makes people believe that he has scissors for fingers.
Oh, I seen her say that.
Like,
what?
Yeah, she's like, the man
and then
who
people
convinced
like
the world. He had
people like
scissors.
been cutting in. People have been cutting in, be like, "What you mean? Edward Scissorhands isn't real?"
Come on, yo. Yeah. He also made people believe he was a pirate on a magical ship. Like, stop it. Yeah. Yo, even in that clip, like, as she's explaining it, you just see bad acting. Like, I look at the jury and
she's still trying to act.
It's like,
yeah, you definitely don't feel the genuine.
I would say that aside from her, what impressed me at least was Savannah Guthrie asking her the right questions.
Yeah.
Like, basically not giving, you know, like, she's not doing that thing.
I think if the trial didn't go that way, and she lost, like, if it wasn't like this clear, like, she seems like a narcissist. There were psychologists on there saying that she had personality disorder. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, if that didn't go that way, there's no way she does that in the interview, because it's too dangerous.
Right.
You know. Yeah. All right, let me play this. This is an Instagram clip Jake got. Experiment showing how a baby is affected by a still-faced narcissistic mother.
Here. She makes that screechy sound at the mother. Like, come on, why aren't we doing this? Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions. They turn away. They feel the stress of it. They actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Okay.
So, baby.
Here, watch the beginning though.
Okay.
Because this is like.
The baby very quickly picks up on this. And then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. she points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She
what the baby's
makes
saying?
That
I don't know
screechy
about that,
sound
but
at the mother, like, come on, why aren't we doing this? Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions. They turn away. They
Okay, we saw the rest of it.
Yeah.
I love when they got to put the like ominous music under it to add to the terror. It's like, oh,
Right.
like,
But you can see
I get it.
how it's all about programming, and in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah,
Like, you know how many babies get the wrong responses from their parents that program them to think, oh, this is good,
Right.
right?
This is how I get
This
attention. This is how
need
I
to
get my
react.
way.
Like, this is how
Yeah.
babies. This is how you start to see what is gaining attention from your parents, right? To interact and engage with them, right? To relate with them,
Yeah.
right? That's why she's like pointing, and she's not getting the
Yeah,
response because
right.
usually the mom will probably be like,
right.
like, so she's not getting that, and she's confused. She doesn't understand because how she relates is not connecting.
Yeah, but what parents is that so stoic like?
Well, I think they were trying to.
Sure.
It was an experiment, like to see how a baby would react if you just gave them blank stare for a long period of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and took them. What happens is this baby's probably around 1,
Yeah.
right? So she's had almost a year, if not more, of training or programming into facial expressions, how she gets reactions from her mom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she's already been programmed in this. So now you're seeing that. So now when she's giving none of the reactions, it's uncomfortable for her. It doesn't make sense. So when you look at relationships, now look at people who grow up and they're in abusive relationships and they're used to abusive relationships because they've been abused as children, right? And that's what they relate to, right? Like people are in relationships, and if you're not calling them a bitch or, you know, or
if it's not toxic or arguing all the time,
you're not getting that response that you're used to. See how your parents can be, they set the groundwork for what happens in the baby's life. That's what I'm trying to say. So it can be bad or good. So because programming is not bad. Programming is good. It's just having the right programming. Programming is how you process the world, right? A computer is programmed for processing, right? There's computer programs to process systems, right? So that's how our brain works. We process the world based off of our parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just really interesting to me. But you see how media does that to us, right? Programming, TV programming. And that's what's been happening, especially our generation. Like we've been so programmed that we think we understand what the right president is, who the right man is, right? And now that's getting deflated. Like, is there a man? What's a man? What's a woman? You know, like to question that, because on one end they're right. Like people who go, like there are societal norms that aren't really what a man is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. In different cultures, right? Or what a woman is. But that doesn't mean that you now don't have to define a man or a woman. That's what happened. Now you go to a total opposite way. You know?
Yeah.
It's all programming.
Yeah. Terry said, how can gas be high when America has its own refinery? Hey, man. I know there's been a lot of shutting down of pipelines and contracts to use those refineries in this country, making us dependent on foreign oil, which a lot of those things happened in the first month of this new
presidency.
Yeah. So I don't know. That could have something to do with it.
Paul Horner said, "Young Lion programming."
That's right. Let me show this clip.
Man, is that thunder?
Is it? This is what Sleepy Joe is planning for right here.
At least this year, we do need more money But we don't just need more money for vaccines for children eventually. We need more money to plan for the second pandemic. There's going to be another pandemic. We have to think ahead. And that's not something the last outfit did very well. That's something we've been doing fairly well. That's why we need the money. Thank you all. At least this year, we do need more.
It's gonna be another pandemic, y'all.
Last outfit didn't do too well,
Plan,
but we're
reaction,
doing well.
solution.
Yeah, plan, reaction, solution. Yep.
Yeah, that was another thing too that we didn't talk about. Just I think last week they approved, CDC approved for vaccines for children 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
As young as 6 months.
Yeah, and there was a clip of Rand Paul, basically asking Fauci about it and about the studies in Israel and how come none of that includes anything with kids, and he couldn't answer it,
Yeah.
because it doesn't. There is no study showing that children need to be vaccinated or boosted. There's no study showing that. So, he confronted him about that, and he had no answer.
Yeah.
He tried to cite that Israel study, and that is all based off of older people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because that whole, we talk about how he can't talk, Kamala can't talk. Now he has this new press secretary. Have you guys been seeing these clips of her
Yes.
trying to say things? She is remarkably bad at her job.
Yeah. I think she's
overwhelmed.
I think she's so passive that it's programmed to be passive.
Yeah.
That she can't do it. Right. Because you gotta have a level of, no, this is what it is. That's who's the one before that?
The redhead.
Jen Psaki.
Yeah. She was good at her job because she was good at lying and telling people, no,
we'll circle back.
Yeah. Or no, we're doing this because she will always have her spin. This one is looking through notes.
She's
she can't.
very polite.
I don't have. But this is a clip of her with the biggest Freudian slip ever. It's hilarious.
About doing that. I mean, the president has been very clear in making sure that he does everything that he can to alleviate the pain that American families are feeling when it comes to gas prices.
To elevate. I mean, alleviate. Yeah, I thought that was funny. Biggest Freudian slip.
Yeah, I seen one where she was looking in her notes.
Yeah, and then she was like,
she had no idea.
Then she goes, I don't have an answer for that.
It didn't change since the last time we talked about it.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. You guys heard about the Pope might resign?
No, I did not.
Something about health issues. Pope might be resigning due to health issues. Thoughts on that?
What?
I know it was prophesied. So.
Oh, okay. Who prophesied it?
Did he take the vaccine?
I don't know right now.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. But let me see. What else we got? Oh, so more Uvalde news. Did you guys see they were
The video timestamps?
The video timestamps, how they were investigating the police, and the police said that they had to wait 50 minutes for a key to open the door. Okay.
But the door was never locked.
But then there was video that got leaked. Here's a screenshot from the video that was released with the timestamp, 11:52 p.m. You can see that right there. Look, there's police officers in the building with rifles and body armor.
Right.
And they never engaged.
So when did he come in the building? Because I don't know.
I heard. I don't know if there's video of that. There was a police officer that could have shot him before he even went into the room, but he didn't. He had an opportunity to,
because he was worried about other casualties.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have officers in the building, because at first we were told they were standing outside the building.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's why I remember when we showed the clip of the parent that went in the building, and a lot of what she said wasn't making sense, because she was like, then I was in there and I was telling them, why aren't y'all doing nothing? And we were like, what does she mean by that? We didn't have the evidence, but it sounded like she was saying they were in the building.
Yeah, we talked to
And they're threatening her too, right?
Of course.
You know what's funny? I mean, I'll be honest with you. This one, This one bothered me the most because we all have young children, and
Yep.
I mean, you know, I'm praying about it, but I have to tune out because it is so gut-wrenching.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
These kids were unrecognizable.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't even imagine that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I couldn't even imagine
it's sad.
that. And what saddens me is a lot of, honestly, some of the guys I've subscribed to are basically telling people like, you don't know what the police go through. They're not. They just don't want to like it's
They
like
can't
listen,
even admit that they
and I'm like,
that
this
they
is the problem.
messed up.
This is
Yeah.
the problem. It's
Yeah.
like we're not saying it's all their fault because
Yeah.
they didn't plan this, but
Right.
we're saying there has to be a better way.
You have a job to
Yeah.
do at a
there
certain
has
point.
to be a better
though.
way,
Like,
man.
Who's gonna be accountable for
Right.
it?
You know, and it turned right into, you guys don't know how stressful this is, and
Yeah.
you're not gonna risk your life. We have to stand down, and we have to, and it's all these police.
But what about the
jargon.
parents that wanted to go in and save their own kids? They wouldn't let them. What
Yeah.
about the border patrol agents that ended up going in and shooting them because they had the balls to do it?
Yeah,
You guys were in the building. We have evidence now.
Yeah.
yeah.
With
And that's what's so
And-
hard
and-
because I subscribe to these guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you guys, okay, fine. I even wrote on one guy, I was like, okay, dude, we get it. We support the police. What's the solution?
Yeah.
It's because all it's turning into is how hard their job is.
we got to defend
Yeah.
the blue no
But-
matter what.
But
like,
yeah, exactly. It's you signed up for it. That is your job, is to protect.
yeah,
And-
especially kids.
And when you, especially kids, and when you get
That's
caught,
what's frustrating. Yeah.
you get caught like there's something fishy going on.
Yeah.
You're trying to save your own ass and
Yeah.
just straight up lying.
Yeah.
When they had
you
the
can
press
see
conference,
you can see that lady as
They
she's,
lied.
as she's talking. You can see how amped she is. She's like, and she's just so amped. And I don't know, man. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I would go in.
I would have went in. I
what
would've
up,
went in.
Emma? What's up?
Yeah.
You know? So
I definitely would have went in, dude.
I could
it's-
understand the
yeah.
pain. Just watching them as they're holding them back. I mean,
Yeah.
I couldn't tune in anymore.
Tasing them, putting them in cuffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
When you hear gunshots,
Yeah.
and they
Paul-
lied
Paul
about
said
that
the Pope
too.
must have got that booster. Yes.
I kind of alluded to that too, Paul.
Yeah. Stan says she's a robot reading the binder. I guess he's talking about the press secretary. But yeah, man, this Uvalde thing just continues to be
It gets
Right.
worse.
like there are so many fishy things going on with this. The way this whole thing went down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, to stand down if
Yeah.
they're told to stand down, like
Yeah.
right.
like the chain of command. And the funny part is, I'll say this: you've seen this on so many movies,
Yeah.
but nobody like that don't really happen.
Yeah.
you know, just the chain of command
Right,
stuff,
right.
And even like the brotherhood thing where you don't come against cops, like
Yeah.
even that whole thing, like
Yeah.
you know,
I have friends who I have asked them, and they do not.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, be honest, and they're just not.
They can't.
They don't want to.
It's such a fraternity, man.
It's such a fraternity.
but
Yeah.
that's
And I'm like,
that's
hey.
blinding.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's blinding. Like
And
you
it-
should be.
But our friend who's in law enforcement, I talked to him.
Yeah.
He said they should have engaged.
Of course.
Right.
Everybody
They
who
should have
knows
engaged.
better says that.
Yeah, and you know what's funny to me? Reading up on so after there was a robbery in California, it's sort of loosely a guy loosely took that and made it. You remember the movie Heat, the bank robbery with
no.
Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer and Al Pacino.
Yeah, yeah.
They robbed the bank, and it was like a shootout in L.A. Some guy was inspired by this. He went out, put on body armor. Now, this is real footage, and he's out there, and he's destroying the cops.
Yeah.
But he had on body armor.
Okay.
And nothing they had could stop him.
Yeah.
They had to go to a gun shop to get weapons, and that's when it became standard that police cruisers have heavy artillery in their vehicle.
Okay.
So when another police officer, and he didn't want to show his face, but he was like, listen, after that, every department have funding for more. There's your
Heavy-
handgun,
heavy
but in
weaponry,
your cruiser,
yeah, right.
there's other things
Right.
that are heavier for that situation.
Right.
And that's
So
what
you're
he-
telling me guns and bigger weapons and more powerful weapons to stop bad guys.
Yes, but they have it in.
Not according
Right.
to Joy Behar.
Right.
They have it. They have it in.
Well, Joy Behar said black people don't have guns.
Oh, no, she said if.
That's what she said.
if
So they
black
must not have
people-
them. Because
Yeah.
she said if
They
they
don't.
had them, the gun laws would be
Illegal.
Yeah, right.
But he was saying that they do have heavy equipment for that purpose because
So what you're telling me is somebody MK Ultra that dude to go out there and do that so that they could then get the funding to get the heavy artillery weapons. That's what I'm hearing. Okay.
So what
Like,
you
let's
saying,
get some
think of-
dummy to go out there and mimic a
Listen,
movie.
the video he posted with that military dude breaking down $9,000 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
A kid that works at Wendy's.
Yeah.
Something doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I know
High school dropout.
we've all worked at fast food when Amazon wasn't available in the 90s.
Bro,
Yeah.
All right.
I could barely buy a jacket
You saved up that much money to just cash?
and a new truck.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something doesn't
Brand
make
new
sense
truck.
here.
Yeah.
Those, man.
And then you
Something
find
doesn't
out
make
he was in the
sense.
same Discord chat server as the shooter from Buffalo,
Right.
talking to extremists, getting amped up for stuff like this. Like,
Yeah. And you see, the thing is speaking on the code,
yeah.
because a couple have spoken out, like the military dude showed his face, But there are a lot of people who, listen, man, if you want this thing to change, you're going to have to change the culture.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to risk certain things. You're going to have to do it. Just like Michael Woodson, the Baltimore police officer that
Yeah.
said, look, we were told to get numbers.
Yep.
And we would leave these white towns to go to these black towns.
Yep.
And we see a guy hanging out in a corner, more likely
Right.
he has something on him. And we were just racking up numbers because
Yep.
that's what we were told to do. Until you have that happening where then I don't see how this is going to expose.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But those guys know. Like, look at him. What happened to him?
Oh, yeah. Right.
No one will work with him. He's shunned. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like this.
But that's the thing. If we're saying we want justice, we should be the people to be like, we got you.
Yeah.
There should be a system. If we want truth,
That's where the
I mean,
GoFundMe's come in and all that.
Even just prayer. Like,
Yeah.
I know, like, prayer works. Praying for things to shift. Like, all it takes is a couple people to step forward.
Right?
You know what I mean? To step forward and be the whistleblowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happened in Camden Police.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yep. The whole thing
got
changed.
Yeah.
changed around.
Changing the culture.
Because we were seeing it. Like,
Yeah.
cops,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
cop on their phone, like,
Yep.
not paying attention.
Not paying
nothing.
attention. Being
Wow.
involved in the crime from what we were finding out,
right. So, I mean, these things,
Yeah.
you at least start with prayer.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not talking about the prayer like thoughts and prayer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, like, please, Lord,
Thoughts
just
and
change,
prayer.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
change the hearts of these people, Lord. No, you gotta hit the streets. You
Hit the
gotta go out
streets.
there. You gotta
And you got to
intercede.
participate in these township. You got to
Yeah.
get on there.
You gotta start
You
being
gotta-
active.
like we talked about the other day with me and your mom. We were talking about the whole fake ballot thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times we don't participate in these regulatory agencies and these local township stuff because it's not that important to us.
Mm-hmm.
But guess who is in there?
Right.
Guess who's in there? The enemy's in there because
Yeah.
they know this is the place
Yeah.
where you can take control of this. You can
Right.
hide this. You can do this.
Can manipulate the system.
You can manipulate. If to
Yeah.
us it's not that important, well, guess what?
Yeah.
Because where were a lot of this fraud happening? At local level. It wasn't happening in, it was
Yeah.
more those local. Remember what was it you that sent the clip with the girl showing up 21 times,
Yeah.
dropping off ballots?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, man. And that's the thing. Like and like you said before, the church avoids this topic completely.
Yeah.
And they don't do a good job of like telling people like, no, we need to be involved.
we need to
in these
participate.
things.
We need to volunteer.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you get stories like this. Speaking of schools, this story showed up the other day. Hawaii teacher arrested after reportedly having sex with a 13-year-old student during lunch breaks. The teacher allegedly recorded it and sent it to another teacher.
Teacher
So-
has been arrested for sharing child pornography. Federal prosecutors say Alden Bunog sent illicit pictures and video to another teacher on the mainland and admitted to sex with a 13-year-old student. Manolo Morales reports.
Alden Bunog made his first court appearance on Thursday at the federal courthouse and remains in custody until his next hearing. Court records say he admitted to investigators that he recorded his sexual encounters with a 13-year-old boy who was a former student and sent the videos to others through a messenger app.
13-year-old
According
boy.
to federal court documents, Bunag had been sending child pornography to a teacher in Philadelphia. That teacher was arrested in October.
Now, when you hear all of those things about why do they care so much about inserting their identity on these children, speaking about these things. Now, I'm going to show you something. So
Grooming.
Yeah, I'm going to show you something. Now, this is a tweet from that same teacher. Okay? You're effing acting like we want to show kids porn or something. But something I've learned through the years is that whenever right-wingers accuse others of something, it's definitely because they're projecting. So...
Really?
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. He's talking about himself.
He's talking about himself.
Yeah.
He's talking about himself. All of these activists that go on here talking about trying to defend the fact that people don't want their kids to be groomed.
People see it. A lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Why are you so adamant about grooming kids?
Mm-hmm.
And then we come to find out,
That's what you're doing. Oh, yeah.
Because you're grooming kids.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're making tapes and sending them to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see now, this is the thing, right? This is where smaller platforms have a responsibility. If you're going to talk truth, you gotta focus on stories like this because the mainstream media won't.
Yep.
Because they do not want to make the correlation that it is grooming.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking about it as this education, as this tolerance.
Yeah.
But it isn't. It's them grooming kids, and then a guy like this right here says everything we need to know about this person.
Yep.
He's more upset that you won't give him the chance to do what he wants to do.
Right.
By the way, I was watching this thing about certain serial killers, not all of them, but what they would do is they actually would kind of get familiar with people. It's not right. It's not this guy in the bushes. It sometimes they almost build a relationship with you.
Yeah,
where
that's
it's
what
like
they do.
they're familiar. Maybe they're not friendly, but they're familiar with you. It's not the creepy guy in the bush waiting with the knife. It is like somebody who's a lot of times familiar
with
enough,
you.
so you drop your
It's
guard.
90% of the time.
Hey, you
want
to come over and have a drink?
Yeah, right.
You know that,
and then they slowly. That's what the definition of grooming is. It's like
Yes.
little by little,
Yes.
I get you to do more and more.
We don't
outside
understand
of
those
your comfort
tactics
zone.
though, because we're thinking it is the guy in the bushes, but it's not that. It is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just wanted to point out this dude's Twitter bio, by the way. He's a socialist high school teacher fighting for a better society for my students to graduate into. Artist, dancer, singer, photographer, writer, creative educator.
Model.
It's like...
I was
Yeah,
hoping,
you
I was
could-
going
you
to mention
couldn't-
I was going to mention that if you weren't going to go into that because
You couldn't centrally cast someone for that role better.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he
he's been
portrays
charged
himself
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Twitter a certain way, but then
Yeah. That's what people do.
Yeah.
They go.
But I think it's actually good that they do that.
Yeah.
Because this is like, come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell us how you feel.
Right.
And a lot of times people who go so hard are hiding something.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
They need it to be acceptable. Why? Because then they don't have to hide anymore.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
In both.
Yeah.
It's just like the people, a lot of times the religious people that go so hard against sin.
Yeah.
Like where they're like, everybody's a sinner.
Yeah,
They're
right.
pointing out
Right.
everybody who has flaws.
Right.
Like, don't listen to this. This is a false teacher. This
Right.
one's bad. This one. They're usually the ones that are doing some stuff.
Yeah. What are you doing at Berlin News?
Yeah, right. Oh man. So all right, I want to show this other video that I saw on Twitter. It is a video about hypocrisy.
What's important is bodily autonomy, the same right men have always had. We just want equal rights. The right to govern our own bodies, just like men have always had. It's that simple.
Do you support the right for people to not get the COVID vaccine?
It's irrelevant.
Right? My body, my choice.
You're right. It's not irrelevant.
Yeah, but one saves lives.
You're right. It's
One's
not
a
irrelevant.
choice.
One of them is going to be in a pandemic state, right? A state of emergency, which we all know laws change during a state of emergency.
Do you agree with the statement or the principle of my body, my choice?
Yes, absolutely. Bodily autonomy is a human right. Healthcare is a human right. Access to healthcare should not be something that is dictated by the Supreme Court.
During the pandemic, did you support people's right to not get the COVID vaccine?
it's a difficult conversation.
Do you support bodily autonomy in other situations? For example, the COVID vaccine mandates.
The vaccine mandates, we've been mandated to get vaccines for years and years and years.
So you do support in that situation people not having control of their bodies?
That's not having not control of your bodies. Like, I don't understand.
Do you think it is important to have medical
Gotcha.
and health control of their own body?
Look at this character.
Yeah, it's good for them. It's good for everybody.
You didn't support the mandates?
I do support the mandates, yeah.
So that mandate that people have to get the vaccine so they don't have control over their own body?
Vaccinations are good for people.
But in that case, you don't have control, right? If there's a mandate?
No, they don't have to get it. They just
can't go anywhere or do anything, right?
They just can't have a job. You don't have a right to a job.
Everybody should have a right to do what they want with their bodies.
You support the people's right to choose not to get the COVID vaccine?
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
I just thought that was funny because that was something that we brought up all the time during this, like the my body, my choice, but not in that case.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, man, listen, I applaud these guys, that go out and these girls that do this because I think we do need to see these people being confronted with, like you said, they're just regurgitating things. That's talking point.
Yeah.
They don't know why. They're just there.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's, to be honest with you, they're just passionate because their friends are passionate. They're just passionate because something to be seen.
It's a social thing.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times it's because there's underlying things why they're passionate.
Yeah.
What's motivating them.
Right.
It's usually a selfish reason.
Selfishness, insecurities, a need to fit in somewhere.
I want to be seen,
Yeah. This was in the headlines right here. You can pull this up, John. So Leah Thomas will not race against women after the FINA rule on transgender athletes. So I guess the overarching swimming authority has ruled that if a biological male has gone through puberty, they cannot race against females.
Right.
So they finally made that ruling, and now they're expecting other sports to fall in that way too.
As they should.
Yeah.
So I saw that article, right?
Yeah.
And then my initial reaction was, "Oh, that's good." But then I kind of looked into it.
I'm already thinking.
Yeah,
about that.
I think it's after they have 10 to 12, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking is this gonna move it faster to them saying that? See, this is why
we need to get them on puberty blockers early.
We need to get them to transition.
Yeah,
all right.
That is true. Second level thinking there.
That's
is it bad? It's
yeah, let's take it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Let's take it to the extreme. Bring it back.
See,
right
this
here.
is why we need to put them on the blockers early.
Because they know already.
Because
they know.
That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Manly P. Hall, man. 5 step forward, 2 step back. You're at number 3.
Yeah.
Right where you want them.
And this is the issue because, from a demonic perspective, that's the point.
Yeah. You're not outsmarting the devil.
Yeah.
Is
He's
to get
been
your
here
kids.
a long time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But although I would say there has been a lot of young girls who have transitioned to the male thing who are speaking out about it.
Yeah.
There's more and more, I'm seeing more videos pop up.
Yeah.
Not so much the boys, but more the girls.
Boys
who
too.
The ones I've seen mostly girls.
There's been a lot of girls because it was actually way more girls that were affected by this.
Yeah, because they go through more of the identity thing, which is psychologist. I can't remember her name.
I forget her name too, but she wrote
Jordan
that
was
book.
breaking down that girls go through a period of the social identifying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so a couple of girls have come out and spoken about the mistake that what it is. Not even attacking but just saying that for me, I was pointed in this direction.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That girl that y'all sent the video about that I said was on Tim Pool's podcast.
Yes.
That was one of the examples, and
Right.
I remember her.
Was it the one Ben Shapiro interviewed?
Ben Shapiro interviewed her.
Yeah.
But she was talking on Tim Pool. She went into detail about how it all happened on Tumblr because it would just be
right.
She would just be on there and then get into these blogs and meet up with people and get into these conversations and then get all this affirming,
Release all the
attention.
endorphins,
and then it led her down that path.
And I could see that more with girls. I think if it was, let's say, video games,
Yeah.
and I could see it with them.
Right.
With that, you know what I mean? Not saying that it don't happen. It's just that I think in those, anytime whatever the new TikTok replacement is,
Yeah.
young teenage girls are going to flock. Teenage boys really don't.
Yeah.
So if it's on there and if it's a trend, and especially one like that or something like that, body dysmorphia or body
Yeah.
morphing or whatever it is.
Well, that's why you see the gender thing going crazy on TikTok. Every video that I show on here about like new genders that I'm teaching y'all that are like
It's on TikTok.
extremely ridiculous
Mm.
are from TikTok. You know what I mean? Like it's like they're gonna just keep ramping it up. You know what was the one? It was like fish gender.
Oh, yeah.
Fish self.
Right. Fish self.
Fish self.
Was
so
it-
if you, the way you use that is fish wants to buy fish self a TV, then fish will go to the store and buy it for fish self.
Was it a joke or that's real?
No, it's
It's
real,
real,
bro.
bro.
That's real.
It's real.
I mean, it's real to them. It's not real. It's real to them.
I want to read this real quick.
Okay.
This is something that is key to what we're talking about. It was on Lance Wallnau's page. It says Jesus didn't eat with sinners. Now, think about it, because you're seeing this a lot, like people using Jesus and then putting the meaning on why he did the things he did.
Yeah.
Right? And that's always the fallacy of this. Like, you can't just read something and try to prescribe your own meaning to it, right? So it says Jesus didn't eat with sinners and tax collectors because he wanted to appear inclusive, tolerant, and accepting, right, of what they did.
Yeah.
He ate with them to call them to a change and a fruitful life, to die to self and live for him. His call is transformation of life, not affirmation of identity.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
transformation of life, not affirmation.
Not affirmation of
identity.
of how you feel you are or what you
Right.
think you are. Yeah.
And you're seeing that, like, people, that's politeness. Goes right back to that. The politeness is like, no, you have to be, they even switched that. You have to be kind to people. See how kind gets a different meaning now. Kind is, let me share love with people. Love gets a different meaning, right? Because it's all about politically correct.
Right.
Like if I'm not tolerant of everything you do, if I don't allow you to just feel like you can do whatever you want,
Right.
and affirm you in whatever you do, then
How does that work with children though? If you have kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
well,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
it works to a certain extent. You'll be blind to it in one way, but then totally open to it in other ways.
Yeah.
And that's the hypocrisy of it that we're seeing. Like, blockers bad, right? But I mean, I'm sorry, what's it called? Hormone blockers good,
Yeah.
right? But
Discipline bad.
or how about discipline bad? Or how about this? Talking about Jesus bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Christianity
Right.
bad, right?
Heterosexual. Bad.
Right. That's indoctrination. But teaching them about, the LGBTQ.
Yeah, or
That's good.
masturbation.
Yeah.
It's
All right, let me show this article. I think you sent this, Jake, by The Independent. Jane's Revenge.
I sent that to
Oh,
you.
you sent this? Jane's Revenge. Group appears to threaten violence if Supreme Court overturns Roe.
Which probably is tomorrow.
Yes, they're supposed to rule on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
A bunch of crazy stuff on the docket.
Yep.
But yeah, the Roe thing is supposed to be tomorrow. But this is crazy to me because, like, this is where we're seeing the violence happen, right?
Right.
Like, we're being told that it's all coming from certain individuals, and but when we're actually seeing, like, you guys heard about the guy that literally was about to kill Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Right.
Was not reported.
Yeah, wasn't reported. They asked Nancy Pelosi about it. She was like,
Brett Kavanaugh. Brett Kavanaugh. Spell it.
Yeah. She's like, no one's in danger here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a guy was literally.
Wilmar talked about that too.
But something's weird about that story too, because like he called the police on himself. Did you hear the 911 call? He called the
I
police
didn't
on
hear.
himself and was like,
That dude?
yeah,
Wow.
And he was like, yeah, I was about to, I was here to kill Brett Kavanaugh. Like, he tells them on the 911 call.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but yeah, I don't know, man. a lot of crazy stuff going on. But yeah, this apparently, who's Jane's Revenge, dude? It's just,
That's the group that they took credit for, all those centers that's being what are those called? Birth centers or something like that.
oh, that are being like bombed
They're
and
being
stuff?
bombed. They're
Yeah.
taking credit for
Oh,
that.
okay. So they're really an extremist group.
Right. So they
Militant abortion rights organization Jane's Revenge appears to be calling
a night of
for
rage. That's
a
what
night
they're
of
called.
rage in the nation's capital should the Supreme Court, as is expect, overturn Roe v. Wade.
So they have flyers,
A night of
flyers
rage.
out.
Night of rage.
Isn't that movie? What's that movie called again?
What movie?
Where it's a night where you go kill people.
Oh, The Purge.
The Purge.
Yeah.
The Purge.
Yeah.
The Purge. A night of rage.
Look, this is like something out of a movie. To our oppressors, if abortions aren't safe, you're not either. Jane's Revenge. Yeah.
So,
no one's
basically a play off of Jane Road.
I guess.
Isn't that what?
I guess that's why they're saying it's Jane's Revenge.
It's like terrible, like Star Wars references.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the.
But the funny thing is, like, they're not. Are they talking about this? Are they making precautions about it?
No.
Are they going to bring in the FBI to investigate this? Are they going to is this an insurrection?
Yeah,
This would be a good skit if like a clueless Klansman show up. Like, I'm here to riot, guys.
Yeah, right.
Not you.
Yeah, right.
It's not you, right? No. I'm with you. I want to
I'm
burn
with
stuff
you.
down.
Yeah, I'm ready to burn things down. Let's go.
No, go away.
We don't want you involved. All right, going on to this now. Let's talk about Father's Day. So we all know that Father's Day is the sham holiday of the year. Who was the comedian that did the joke about it that went viral? You could pull it down real quick, John. Who was the comedian that did a joke about it that went viral, where he was talking about like the list, like America's favorite list of holidays?
Ali.
Sadiq. Ali Sadiq.
Can you pull it up?
Let's see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'll
try
find
to
it.
pull it.
I got it.
Okay.
But he goes in to talk about how it's like not even in the top 10. Let's see if I can find it.
Top holidays in America.
Yeah.
There's holidays that I've never even heard of. That's in front of Father's Day.
Well, that was the joke.
What's one of them?
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day. I don't even know what that is.
It's like, I remember it's like a holiday about trees or something. Let me see. I think this is it right here.
As you know, our priority is always great customer service.
Hey guys, just wondering if you.
Let me say this.
I thought you were gonna
Let
look
me
for
say
the
this. I've been
real
thinking
thing.
about this too.
What?
Father's Day is the worst holiday in the world. I've done the research. I already know. Let me tell you something. Mother's Day is the second most celebrated holiday in the world. Christmas is first. So that means it's Jesus, then your mama. You know what Father's Day fall at? Number 20. I can't think of 18 other holidays. Do you realize Halloween is number 6? That means ghosts and goblins go before fathers? Arbor Day is number 13. I don't even know what that is. I just know it comes before me. That's crazy. Columbus Day is number 16. Celebrating Columbus Day is like celebrating somebody finding money in your house. Where you get that $50 from? I discovered it in your kitchen. Ridiculous. Fathers, and it's mother's fault. It's mother's fault. Because see, when Mother's Day come around, fathers go in their pocket deep.
Okay, I don't want to play the whole clip because I know copyright's going to get us as a Comedy Central clip, and they will get us.
So I looked up
Jane came with numbers.
Statista.
Okay, is he accurate on this?
Statista.
And it says the rating. It says most popular national and religious events in the United States as of 2021. So Thanksgiving is first.
Okay.
On this one.
Okay.
Christmas next, Memorial Day, then Mother's Day. They're very close. Veterans Day, Martin Luther King's Day, Labor Day, then Father's Day.
Okay.
So
Father's
So
Day.
it's not bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as. And I looked at another one too.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he got that from.
They probably just made the bit better.
Yeah.
But we get the gist of it.
Yeah.
Is that
but
like
it's definitely not on the same level as
it's
Mother's
definitely
Day.
not. It gets downplayed. And we saw a clip that we were sharing today where, first of all, there was a clip of 50 Cent talking about how Father's Day is some BS because, you know, they don't focus on getting the dad nothing. Like nobody, he said, all you get is a text message.
Yeah. You get a screwdriver.
Go fix some stuff. He's like, Father's getting a screwdriver. Like, you got some stuff to fix. He was like, we want jewelry. We like jewelry too. You know what I mean? Because Mother's Day advertisements is all about Zales.
Yep.
And, you know.
Okay, so Mom put up a Bible verse, which I'm trying to figure out why you put this up, Mom. Matthew 23:9, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven.
She trying to say that's why we're not important?
Oh, okay.
So
that's why Father's Day doesn't matter.
Is that why it don't matter?
Let us know what you mean by
Yeah,
that.
she's trying to say that's why Father's Day don't matter.
God said it.
'Cause I know what he meant by that, but you let me know what you mean by that.
But the point is, the statistics, all the anecdotal evidence, the scientific evidence shows how important fathers really are.
So let me say, Happy Father's Day to all you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we already did that, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody here, fathers, except for John.
His is coming though. His is coming. In the name of the Lord.
Yes.
But you know, fathers that are very integral in their fatherhood. And I would say as fathers, we're all learning, right?
Yeah,
we're
of
learning
course.
how to grow greater in that every day. And I think that's the context of this, because the most important thing is the Father in heaven. Simone, you know, he just went through, well, you're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
But you got custody of your son, which
Yeah.
shows like that doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, he wanted his son so bad.
Yeah.
Which really, you know, I commend you for that.
Yes.
To be applauded.
Because he wanted to make sure his son
Yeah.
grew up
Right.
in the light
Yeah.
Yeah.
that he needed to grow up in. So
Yeah, and sons need a father.
Sons
especially.
need a father, and not only that, but thinking strategically. It is this, right? Aside from the love of your son, it's you're on the road to breaking a generational curse. Even though you're going through this, there is a spiritual entity that's after your family lineage, and you can help break that. Not saying that there won't be stormy days, but it's like because of that, you're setting a tone. You know what I mean? And God is gonna, you know, you honoring God, He's gonna honor you.
That's
you know?
right.
So it's like you want that to break in your son, show him. Like, you know what I mean? And because one day nobody's gonna marry. You know, you don't, because those demonic spirits are eternal. They're going, well, for a season, but they're going after that family lineage, which people don't understand, especially men. Walking away because you feel the courts are against you, or you feel that you're not gonna win. It's not an excuse. Your legacy is at hand. You know what I mean? So, but I would say, so on another thing, I would say I had a really good Father's Day. Shaniqua asked me what I wanted, and I said, look, I don't want any gifts. I don't want anything. I wanted the day to myself, because this is the first time. Well, my dad passed away about a year ago, but this is the first time that I was like, you know, I'm going to do something. I took his old shoes from the house, and I went on a hiking trip.
Wow.
And I wanted to walk in his, you know what I mean?
Wow.
And I was like, I'm gonna go. And I invited Ian, because he's also going through a divorce. And we spent a lot of time talking. I don't know if he's listening, but, you know, I really appreciate that. We went out to a nice thing, and we talked, and we spent the day just relaxing, just talking, and talking about manhood and our family and our legacy, and, you know, our grandfather and my dad and his son and all of those things. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes, man, having that moment to reflect what we have become or what we're planning on becoming.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of men don't encourage other men.
Yeah.
You know, we don't encourage them to be like, listen, you know, we got a goal.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And that's something that I appreciate about this core group is that we're constantly affirming and redirecting and making sure we're all sharpening each other in that way.
Yeah, it's important. It's important. And like I said, I got to give honor. I hope Shaniqua's listening. I got to give honor to her because she was like totally. And I told her I didn't want anything. And I came home, there was a meal, and she, you know, so, you know, God has blessed me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thank God for her and you guys, my family.
Yeah.
You know, everybody here, like, you know, said iron sharpens iron. We work off of each other. We work off. There's certain times when the conversation is passionate, but there's still love, and I think it's you know, that's to me what a part of fatherhood is being accountable to other men. Because I know if I did something wrong, if you guys see me doing something wrong,
we'll be like, come on, man,
we got accountability, and that's what holds you in place.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, man, and that's an example to y'all sons. You know, that's the example, even to like John. Like, I know he's a little bit younger than us, and he kind of sees us as his older brothers who are annoying and talk about things that he don't care about. But I'm sure when he has a kid and when like stuff like that happens, I know there's going to become a time where he's like, yo, I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like, I'm glad I had y'all around to constantly say the things that I didn't want to hear. You know what I mean?
Right. And we got to talk about the joy of fatherhood.
Yeah.
There is a joy to it. There is an awesome thing in, you know, I can see the passion with him, and I know how much he loves soccer.
Yeah.
I could see when I see his two sons and his daughter, but mostly his two sons.
Because they are just like him, boy. The passionate,
and I saw it.
Yeah,
I see it. You know, I see them. You know, I see them doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Moan, I see how much you love your son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You love your boy. You know what I mean?
And you're on him. You don't slack at all.
Yeah, you know his strengths and you know his weakness. Yep. There's no excuses with you. You know what I mean? It's about integrity. It's like, you know where his shortcomings are. You know where his strengths are. And same thing for you, man. Like, you're doing an awesome job with my nieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, Arya is like a totally different person. You know what I mean? And that, what he was saying earlier, letting a child stay there. Oh, that's just her.
Yep.
That's just him. And you cultivate bad behavior.
Right.
Arya, we went up to the house a couple of weeks ago. Arya made, she wasn't even hungry. Sophia wanted some food. This is my daughter. This is her cousin. So Arya went and made her food. Set her up, gave her a plate with ketchup. And I'm like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And the thing about adults is we don't stop to recognize the moment that there's growth. If you pour into that, you pour into that kid. I can see you guys, you and Liz have been working on. You're not gonna let her stay there. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Sophia. Like, Sophia's doing this thing now where she goes into school, and I'm like, say good morning, and she's like hiding behind me. She's known these people for like, and I won't let her get away with it. I'm like, no, you gotta speak up. I'm not gonna do that. Oh, she's not having a bad. I'm not gonna make excuses, because I realize that she can easily cultivate this. You know what I mean? And it becomes part of her personality. It's not really her, but it's like, it's who she is, part of her who she is now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I appreciate all that, man. Like I said, with all your kids, like, I make sure I hug them, and you know, because I want them to remember me.
That's how we are with each other's kids. Like, we're like, I don't care if you're awkward. We've known you your whole life. Stop. You know what I mean?
And that's what's important, you know.
And it shows the importance of like having a strong family unit. You know what I mean? Like, we were talking about that earlier, because a lot of
saying community.
And community as well. But just like a lot of these stories of like, you know, oh, you didn't tell me about, like, the little boy who was talking about, you didn't tell me it was Father's Day. You know, but also your parents aren't together. You know what I mean? So there's that dynamic as well. You know, we grew up like that too, where it's like Father's Day is separate from Mother's Day because our parents aren't in the same house. You know what I mean? So they don't care about each other's. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you saw the value in being like, I don't want this. I want to make it work with my wife. I remember a real quick story about him. When I was doing his coffee bar, I remember putting up the cabin. I'm doing whatever I do. We're talking. Leslie's over there. I don't remember which one it was. One of your sons. I think the older one, Jakey. I remember Jake brought him over. Jake was like, stand here, look. And he was like, Jake turned his head. He was like, look at what he's doing. This poor kid's like, I don't care about this guy and his drill. But I like that. Yeah. I like that he was like, yo, this is important.
Yeah.
I want you to see.
Look at this.
Look at this. Because you know what? It's like, does he remember that? No.
Right.
But you're cultivating within him that this is valuable.
Yeah.
That this person is valuable.
Right.
What this person is doing is a skill.
This matters.
The thing is, when you don't make something important as a parent to a kid, it's not important to them as an adult.
Exactly.
They're not going to value that. They're not going to care about that. Whatever, you know what I mean? But if you see it, it's like, the old chauvinistic thing where, a man sits by the table waiting for the wife to serve him. But do you want your son or daughter seeing that throughout life? Or they want to see a symbiotic relationship with you and your wife? Maybe you cook dinner one day.
Yeah.
Like, what you guys said probably about a year ago. Having your kids watch you argue having your kids watch you make up after a fight is just as important as watching you argue.
Yep.
Because they get to see a problem and then a solution and then it being solved.
Right.
If you hide that from them, they don't know.
Yep.
And this is what parenthood and fatherhood and motherhood brings to the table. It's all these things. Don't hide that from them.
Yeah.
I mean, don't beat each other in the head. But like
right.
these things, I've never heard that. So a lot of times when I hear these concepts, I'm like,
yeah,
that makes sense.
It's over protecting them.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to be cursing them out. And
Right.
That's toxic.
Yeah, that's
right.
toxic.
No. But I got
what we're talking about.
But you want to be able to have them see conflict and
See it.
see the resolution and see how that conflict doesn't mean y'all hate each other.
No.
Right.
But we can forgive one another. We had a disagreement. You're allowed to do that, but you can't cross the line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We
There's
still
this-
respect each other. We still love each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's what we don't see enough. And like I said, my parents, as wonderful as a job they did, there are certain aspects of all parenting where it can be improved upon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every day.
Let's show this list that you sent, Jake, of the 5 things you should know about the importance of fathers. So father involvement has increased dramatically over the past several decades, and simultaneously the role of fathers in the families have evolved from concepts of fathers as distant breadwinners to more holistic recognition that they are equal co-parents. Accompanying these changes has been a growing interest among researchers in studying the role that fathers play in the lives of their children. Below are some of the highlights of the current landscape of what the research says about today's dads. And this is from Child and Family Research Partnership. So number 1, involved dads had a direct impact on their children's future. Involved fatherhood is linked to better outcomes on nearly every measure of a child's well-being, from cognitive development, educational achievement, to self-esteem, pro-social behavior. Yeah. Children who grow up with involved fathers are 39% more likely to earn mostly A's in school, 45% likely less to repeat grades, 60% less likely to be suspended or expelled from a school, twice as likely to go to college and find stable employment after high school, 75% less likely to have teen birth, and 80% less likely to spend time in jail. In which we know that all of those things they're talking about contribute to a more successful future.
Yeah.
Right. And also a more successful generation.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude.
Which is important.
That's very important.
Yes, very important.
A very successful generation, culture, community, just a shift in the mentality of a whole generation. Yeah. Wow.
Leadership,
Yeah. Okay. So number 2, families are strengthened by supporting fathers. Providing services and programming that aim to increase fathers' positive parenting skills, appropriate discipline, effective communication, emotional support, and stress management can have a double effect, reducing risk factors for child abuse and increasing protective factors. Increasing protective factors. As a result, not only can children face a reduced risk of maltreatment, but they can also benefit from positive father involvement. Learn. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good one. 3 policies and programs specifically for dads are on the rise. That's good. Federal and state investments in promoting the positive impact fathers have on their children and families continue to increase significantly. Several cities in the country have also developed innovative fatherhood programs. A majority of states now have some sort of state and local efforts to targeting dads in the form of government initiatives, professional and practitioner networks, and nonprofit and community collaborations.
That's good.
Yeah, man. 4, dads find immense value from their participation in programs. Fathers who attend fatherhood programs find great value in them. The support they find among other fathers, the guidance they receive from the program facilitators, and the community resources and supports they access keep them coming back. Additionally, fathers report knowing how to communicate better with their children and mothers of their children and having an increased sense of confidence and efficacy as a father because of their participation. And number 5, the evidence based on the impact of dads and the effectiveness of specialized programs is growing. Several small-scale studies have found fatherhood initiatives showing promise, while other programs have registered impacts under more rigorous evaluation designs. Several large evaluations of fatherhood programs are currently underway, including CFRP's evaluation of the statewide Texas Fatherhood Effect Program. Federal funds also support projects that promote rigorous evaluation of fatherhood programs throughout the country. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we get it.
Yeah,
in Texas.
Mostly was for the first one.
Yeah.
Because the programs, like,
yeah,
it's their
programs
attempts.
are cool, yeah.
Yeah, their attempts at trying. But
Yeah.
I wanted to speak to...
At least they're recognizing it.
Yeah.
That there's an issue.
Right. Exactly. And then going about it their own way to find solutions. I wanted to talk about what my mom said about Matthew. She said to explain it, which Matthew 23:9, and call no man father upon the earth, for one is Father which is in heaven. So I think key to this is that it's not that we don't call anybody father, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's more about, like, we all have to be submitted to the Father in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And we all grow in that more than anything else. And, you know, we can have fathers in our life. We can have spiritual fathers in our life, right? But that doesn't supersede the Father in heaven.
Yeah.
Because that's where we grow from. And everybody's growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who stops growing?
Yeah.
You're always growing in heart, in understanding, in intellect, and, you know, in knowledge and wisdom. You're always growing unless you stop yourself from growing. So, like, I always say something to my son, that everything that I'm telling him, you know, my dad died,
mm-hmm.
right? And he's taught me some stuff, but I can take it further because I'm submitted to my Father in heaven,
right,
through Jesus. So
mm-hmm.
I always tell him that everything I'm saying has a foundation, but it's found in God,
mm-hmm.
right? And you can seek him too.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't just end at me.
Right.
Right? It just really starts at me.
Right.
But God finishes it for you. So you just got to continue to seek
and
him.
Expands it.
And everything. Yeah. And everything I'm speaking, I have to be submitted to God too. Like, so it's not like I'm your dad and what I say goes. There's a reason why I'm saying these things. And if you want to look into it, the meaning comes from him. Right. And it's cool because when I tell him those things, I just see his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see how he's like,
yeah.
You know,
he's thinking. That, like, wow.
His gears are going.
Yeah.
So because it's like, it's not just the end all to be all. You're always learning. You know, we're always learning. I always tell him that I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm learning how to be your father. I don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know, I'm learning, but that's the good thing about it. That's what makes it so good. That's what makes it so easy to love you, because I'm learning, and I got somebody who loves me, and I can just share that love with you.
Yeah.
You know, and it makes it so like, because you can take stuff, again, we were talking about this earlier, identity, right? Roles, like you have the social roles that society puts on you, right? Or these roles that society puts on you. Fathers, sons, men, right? Women, mothers. These are roles. Right?
Yeah.
But God defines those roles for you, right? And he alleviates you from all those culturally or socially, what's the word? Constructed, but I would say, that's where the pressure gets put on you. The burdens, the social burdens that are too much for you to bear, right? That's where, like, oh, I'm a man, you know, like,
Yeah.
like, what in a lot of our urban societies, fathers become, oh, he's a good father because he gives me money, right, for my son. That's what it becomes. That's not a good father, right? What do you base that off of? What are you measuring that off of? Oh, because bad fathers don't provide for their. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But God actually gives it. He starts to define that for us. And then what you start to realize is that it's not about being good, because nobody's good. That's why, like, nobody's really a father but the Father in heaven.
Yeah.
But he can orchestrate that role in your life.
Yeah.
And it becomes more freeing when you really start to see what that is.
Yeah. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. All right. Anything else anybody want to touch on before we wrap it up, man?
Any Eagle stuff?
Any Eagle news?
I don't know what's going on.
It's off season.
Oh, okay.
All the exciting stuff already happened.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I know the Warriors just won another ring, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Your wife and your kids are in North Carolina.
Yeah.
How you feel about lone man?
Dude, I'm